The biggest criticism of LeBron James has always been that he packs his team, because he's always packed his team. Because he's chasing this imaginary Michael Jordan ghost, what he needs to let go.
He's not chasing the ring. You hear these things like, why do we have to chase? He got 4. There's nothing to chase. He's not chasing a ghost or anything like that.
You've made some waves talking about Michael Jordan.
I have.
You told a group of kids at a skills camp that you are chasing the ghost of this guy who played in Chicago.
The ghost played in Chicago. I think it's cool to put myself in position to be one of those great players, but if I could ever put myself in position to be the greatest player, that would be something extraordinary.
Any media person that I see in person for the rest of my life who try to tell me LeBron James is good as Michael Jordan, I'm just going to slap the hell out of him right on the spot.
He spends more time talking about he's the GOAT, and Michael Jordan says, I never say I'm the GOAT.
For most mainstream NBA analysts, commentators, and media personalities, their influence usually comes down to a few key things. It's often about the connections they've built, the information they can access, and the relationships they have with players or their agents that allow them to call in favors.
Shams finds these things out. Don't tell me how he finds these things out. I really have no idea how he finds these things out. I did not tell him that.
These days, in 2026, it feels like having the right connections matters more than simply having the right information. When you look at ESPN, there are obvious lines that people seem expected to stay within, with certain topics getting discussed and others never being touched. But there's one media personality who stands apart from that crowd, and that's Charles Barkley. His approach is completely different from what you usually see from mainstream NBA commentators. Whether it's players, superstars, or even agents, Barkley has never been afraid to challenge them and say what he believes is true, even when it's not something they want to hear.
I was so disappointed his passiveness, and it drained all the energy out of the rest of the Cavaliers. That left me mad more than anything. For him to come out and play like that with the game on the line, just be so passive.
Just did not seem mentally or emotionally
He packed it in.
He gave up, right?
He gave up.
It seemed like he gave up.
Let's stop on that clip for a second. Looking back at the 2018 finals almost 10 years later, that moment has aged incredibly well. Charles Barkley simply said what he believed, while the others on the panel looked hesitant to go there at first. Once Barkley spoke up, the rest started sharing what they were really thinking too. In a lot of ways, Barkley says what plenty of fans are already thinking but aren't willing to say themselves. A lot of people ended up agreeing with his take because they felt they all watched the same thing in 2018, believing LeBron James had checked out before heading to Los Angeles. Now, if you look at LeBron James leaving teams, people are making similar comparisons again in 2026. Throughout his career, every departure has sparked plenty of discussion. Go back to Cleveland in 2010 against Boston. After Cleveland went up 2-1 in the Eastern Conference semifinals, they dropped 3 straight, and many critics felt LeBron quit on the team before leaving for South Beach. Then, Miami had its own version of that conversation in 2014 against the Spurs. The Heat were overwhelmed in the finals, and while LeBron still put up numbers, many people around Miami believed he had mentally checked out by the end of the series. Critics have pointed to that as a recurring pattern throughout LeBron's career. Their argument is that when situations become more difficult and the roster slips even a little, he moves on and looks for a better opportunity elsewhere. The story behind his return to Cleveland was that he was coming home to finish what he started. Supporters embraced that narrative, but critics argued it was really about finding the easiest path to another championship.
The biggest criticism of LeBron James has always been that he packs his team.
Didn't it sort of seem to imply that this was a non-basketball decision, that he was just going to make this decision based on his love of Northeast Ohio? But that's patently untrue. I mean, if Kyrie Irving would have ripped his Achilles in the last week of the season, and the Cavs would end up having, say, the 9th pick in the lottery instead of the 1st pick, do you think he would go to Cleveland?
Do you think it's suspicious that Anthony Bennett and Andrew Wiggins were not in that Sports Illustrated letter? Because I did. That was my first reaction reading that. Like, wow, these guys aren't in the letter.
I don't think it's suspicious. I think it was intentional.
I do too.
I have to be careful how I say this because I've been getting myself in trouble for saying stuff like I shouldn't be saying. LeBron has expected Kevin Love to be a teammate of his for several weeks.
LeBron James's history makes that context hard to ignore. Now jump ahead 12 years from 2014 to 2026, and many people believe he nearly repeated the same pattern. This offseason, the entire NBA seemed to be waiting on what many were calling Decision 4.0. For a lot of critics, that's exactly the kind of move they've come to expect from LeBron James.
Talked to LeBron James' agent, Rich Paul, and he said LeBron James has all the information needed. So now it's all up to LeBron James to make his decision.
Looking at the way this has played out, the belief is that LeBron James already knew where he was headed as far back as Game 4 against Oklahoma City. The whole back and forth about whether he'll stay or leave is being framed as a publicity play designed to keep the spotlight on him. From that perspective, LeBron and his camp are happy with any attention they get, whether it's praise or criticism. To their credit, they've dominated the conversation throughout July. Then there's Rich Paul, who critics describe as the driving force behind the message that every NBA team is chasing LeBron James. Now, are there teams interested in LeBron James? Probably, but the claim that all 30 franchises are trying to land him is viewed by critics as a major exaggeration. At 41 years old, they argue his impact on turning a team into a championship contender isn't what it once was. Because of that, the stories about teams constantly calling and leaving voicemails hoping he'll join them are seen by those critics as clutch sports PR rather than something actually happening behind the scenes.
If he goes to Philly, people are going to say he's ring chasing to catch Michael. If he goes to Golden State, they're going to say he's ring chasing. He don't have no affiliation to Philadelphia or Golden State.
He's not chasing the ring. You hear these things like, why do we have to chase? He got 4. There's nothing to chase. He's not chasing the ghost or anything like that. But when you've worked this hard to position yourself the way you have, and you can actually decide what you want to do, who wouldn't take advantage of that?
When it comes to Rich Paul, the speaker argues you have to give him credit for how confidently he sells his message. From that viewpoint, his claims aren't subtle or difficult to decode. They're presented openly and without hesitation. The criticism is that Rich Paul and those around him have never been shy about pushing that narrative. The same argument is made about LeBron James, with critics saying championship chasing has been a consistent theme throughout his career. Just look at the two teams most often linked to him right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Philadelphia 76ers. Beyond both being in the Eastern Conference, each roster already features multiple All-Stars without LeBron. The speaker points to Philadelphia as one of the conference favorites even before adding LeBron. With Tyrese Maxey, Bron, a talented young core, and Joel Embiid when healthy, the roster is already viewed as one of the East's strongest. From that perspective, adding LeBron would simply be another attempt to chase a 5th championship. Then there's Cleveland, with talk of another return. The criticism is that LeBron has always come back when the Cavaliers already have a talented roster in place. Just like Philadelphia, the argument is that joining Cleveland would also qualify as ring chasing. The Cavaliers already have Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen, giving them one of the deepest teams in the conference. They were among the East's best last season, and 2 years ago they won an impressive 64 games. The speaker also points out what they see as a contradiction from some LeBron supporters. If he signs with Philadelphia or Cleveland, they'll argue those teams aren't super teams and that he isn't ring chasing. At the same time, they continue to describe LeBron as an elite top 20 player. The speaker's conclusion is that if those two claims are both true, then joining either roster would clearly be viewed as another attempt to chase a championship.
He's not chasing the ring. You hear these things like, why do we have to chase? He got 4. There's nothing to chase. He's not chasing the ghost or anything like that.
One thing you'll notice is how strongly some LeBron James fans push back whenever ring chasing or chasing Michael Jordan gets brought up. The argument is that the more forcefully they deny it, the more it suggests they know those criticisms have some truth behind them. After all, following the 2016 finals, LeBron himself publicly said he was chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan. Now jump ahead almost 10 years and the argument is that Jordan still hasn't been caught. Because of that, the speaker says the message has changed, with people now claiming LeBron was never chasing anyone at all and that the whole ghost discussion never existed. According to the speaker, that's where LeBron's camp made its biggest mistake. Right after winning in 2016, they openly established Michael Jordan as the standard and the player they were trying to surpass. Once you make a statement like that, the speaker argues, failing to reach that goal means you have to accept that you came up short.
Because he's chasing this imaginary Michael Jordan ghost, what he needs to let go. He spends more time talking about he's the GOAT, and Michael Jordan says, I never say I'm the GOAT.
Before I end the video, there's one last thing I want to touch on. When you look at this entire Decision 4.0 saga, with LeBron James spending the whole offseason deciding where he'll play, the speaker believes it all comes back to one thing. In their opinion, it's about keeping the spotlight on LeBron and making sure every headline stays focused on him. The speaker doesn't believe there was some massive league-wide race to sign him. They argue LeBron probably had 2 or 3 teams with genuine interest, and maybe only one organization that was truly eager to bring him in. To them, this whole process is more about ego than basketball. It's about creating the feeling that he's still the most wanted player in the NBA. The speaker says anyone who believes all 30 teams wanted LeBron is buying into a narrative that simply isn't true. Even the idea that half the league was trying to sign him is, in their view, a major stretch. And if you're saying 10 teams were seriously in the mix, they think that's an exaggeration too. According to the speaker, the LeBron sweepstakes realistically involved only 3 or 4 franchises. It was never the entire NBA lining up to make offers. The speaker also points to LeBron's current game as another reason for that belief. Yes, they acknowledge he can still turn back the clock every now and then and remind everyone how great he once was, but they argue those performances are becoming the exception rather than the rule. Most nights, they believe his off-ball defense leaves a lot to be desired, and they don't see his outside shot as something opponents consistently have to fear. Because of that, the speaker never bought into the Golden State rumors. They believe those reports were mainly about creating leverage and making LeBron appear more valuable on the market than he actually was. The Philadelphia rumors don't convince them either. From their perspective, joining the 76ers would simply be another ring-chasing move because the roster is already loaded, and they don't think there's any meaningful connection between LeBron and Philadelphia beyond that. When they look across all the rumored destinations, only one truly fits. The Cleveland Cavaliers make the most sense on every level. The history is already there because that's where LeBron entered the league in 2004, and another return would bring his career full circle. So if the speaker had to make one prediction, it's that LeBron ends up back in Cleveland for a 3rd stint. They close by saying that's been the most logical destination all along. As always, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.